When roasting coffee, smoke and gases are being produced, and this is why it's super important that you always roast in a very well ventilated situation. The amount of smoke and gases and also the composition of it are dependent on different factors. One is, for example, the source of energy that you're using. Other factors are the amount of coffee you are roasting and also the roast level that you are using. Depending on how much you're roasting and where you are located, you might want to work with a smoke filtration system. This is very common to be used in like commercial big roasting setups, but for small roasters, until now, there has been a lack of really good systems for that. Either they were super expensive, they were not effective, or also there were just not a lot of systems around. And this changed now with the DiFluid AirWave system. The DiFluid AirWave system is a catalytic smoke filtration system for small coffee roasters. It is specifically made for machines up to 1 kilo of capacity. It's super compact, it's very affordable, and it's also super simple to use. You can put it anywhere that you want. A filtration system is, as said, a catalytic system, so it uses energy. It's heating up the system up to 300 degrees Celsius, and like that, it's eliminating more than 99% of the volatile organic compounds, as well as the particulate matters that you want to bring out of the smoke that you have. The system is working with a common 230 volt plug, so you can use it anywhere. What you have to take into consideration is that it's taking about 2400 watts. So especially if you're using a roasting machine and the filter at the same time, you need to make sure that you have enough of ampere in the setup where you are. So this is the only thing you have to take into consideration. Other than that, it's working super simply. I'm going to explain you the system right now. What's also some technical details that you might want to know is that it's filtering up to 80 cubic meters of air in about an hour, and it's about 7 kilos, so you can easily just carry it around and use it anywhere that you want. The system is super simple. If you're turning it, you see it has two little openings here. One is the inlet for the smoky air. The other one is the outlet for the cleaned air. And inside of the machine, there is the catalyst that is heating the air as set to about 300 degrees Celsius. So that's, in fact, at the end, all the magic that is happening here. So now I want to show you how the system is working and how you connect it to your roaster. Now I'm going to show you the menu and the settings of this machine. It's actually super simply to use. You have a ring that you can turn to change settings, and you can press the whole thing once, or you can press it a bit for a longer time to get into the settings. That's actually all you need for operating this system. So what we are going to do now is pressing on this ring for a bit longer time, and then we are in the settings menu. I'm going to explain you the settings menu. The first thing is probably the most important one for us. I'm going into the first setting by pressing the button once, and then I have a standard mode, an extreme mode, and a fan-only mode. In the standard mode, the machine is working at 250 degrees Celsius, and this is actually a filter mode that is working very well in most cases. So up to the second crack, it's usually then filtering enough, and you can work on standard settings. If you want to have a little bit a stronger filtration, if you realize, oh, there is too much smoke coming out, or if you're going over second crack, then you might change to extreme, where you have a bit a stronger filter and you're working at about 300 degrees Celsius. And then the third one, fan only, there the heating element is not working at all. It's just taking air through the system. And this is something that you can actually change before operating it, but you can also then change the setting during operation. So for example, in order to save energy, you can start with fan only. Once smoke is being produced, you go to standard. And once you have a bit stronger smoke production, you can go to extreme, so that you don't have to operate it on the highest power level for the whole time. Next setting then is a choice between manual or auto. We are now going to work on manual mode. The auto mode is if you have the DiFluid roast flux system. This is a system that is not yet on the market, but that will come in the future. This is then actually a system which is measuring the color immediately during the roast, and it can be connected to the AirWave system. That's super nice, but for the moment we keep it on manual. Third one is then the self-cleaning mode. So the system will need to be cleaned in the self-clean mode regularly, not too often, but still regularly. So the recommendation of DiFluid is at about 50 kilo of roast, you need to do the self-cleaning procedure. Then here you have the wireless connection. You can switch it on or off. That's actually nice to be switched on because the DiFluid is coming with an app. We are going to have a look at the app as well. And then here you can switch between Celsius and Fahrenheit. So we stay at Celsius. Next one is then the language, where you can choose between English, Chinese, Korean. So we keep the setting on English. Here you have some information about the system. So you see, for example, the firmware that is on the system. You can see then the serial number of your system. And the last one is a factory reset. So if you have changed anything at the machine and you're not really sure what you did, you can just set it back to factory settings. That's all. And if we press for a long time on the button again, we get back to the standard mode. You see the machine is ready. And if I press once, it's now starting to work and filter the air. Now, here we are in the DiFluid app. This is actually the app where you also are operating systems like the Omics or the Omni. And you see here, there is then a button where you go into the DiFluid AirWave system. It's actually very simple to use. You can then just start it. You can then choose between standard filtration, extreme filtration, fan mode, just during the operation. And here with this little thing, you can then choose the strength of the fan speed during operation. So you can, for example, go to extreme filtration and change the fan speed then to the setting that you like it. That's all. At the end, you press stop, and then the system is stopping its operation. So now let's set up the whole filter system with the AirWave. First thing I'm going to take is this part here. And you see, here I have a filter which is fixed with a magnet. And this filter has to be clean all the time. This is a filter for the chuffs. And if this is clogged, if the air is not getting through properly, then the whole system is not working really nicely. That's why you have to clean this regularly, put it back in again, and then mount this one on the lower part of the AirWave. That's actually then where the dusty air is getting in the system. And you will see, you will have two of these large rings and one small ring coming with the AirWave. So I'm taking this small ring, put it on this connecting part, and then I put it here on the inlet. And what I can see here is that I have holes on the inlet at the side of the AirWave. So normally I'm just mounting this so that the holes are empty. If I'm doing this, then the venting at the bullet is not affected the AirWave system. So then the airflow is managed by the roasting machine and is getting into the AirWave. I could, to make the whole system more efficient, also close it and put this part over the holes so that they are closed. But then I just have to be aware that the AirWave is affecting the airflow on the bullet and that I have to set then the airflow in the AirWave system accordingly, so not to influence the roast on the bullet too much. But if I want to keep control on the AirWave on the roasting machine, I'm on the safer side if I leave these holes open and then mount this part very tightly. And next thing is then just putting the metal tubes on the inlet as well as on the outlet and connect them to the bullet. So therefore, then I'm taking this tube, I'm taking another ring, open it here a little bit, and then take it over the inlet so that everything is really tight here. Mount it on my bullet, and then I fix it with this metal ring. And you can see now the setup is prepared. If I want then to bring the cleaned air also out of my room, I can then put another tube here, which is then being let out of the room, for example, to have all the air outside of my workplace. The system is now ready, and to start, I just press here, and now the filtration is starting. The system is working now. I am roasting 900 grams of beans in the bullet, and I'm now way over the first crack. And you can see I had hardly any smoke coming out of the DiFluid. Now we can see we are in full filtration mode. We have in extreme filtration mode at 65% airflow, and the temperature in the system is 300 degrees Celsius. But now I'm going to take the tube away so that you can see the difference. Now that the roast has finished, we are going to switch off the filtration and then let the device cool down until it's below room temperature before we are going to switch it off. Maintenance of the system is very simple. It's important that I store it at the dry place, and then what I'm doing every day after using it, I just wipe it with a damp cloth so that it's not dirty. And another thing is that I regularly then take this filter and wash this filter out and also clean it with a little brush. So you have to find out yourself how often you do this. Just make it regularly enough, open it and check the filter, because it's important that you have a very well airflow in your whole system. And then at around 50 kilos roasted coffee, you want to do then the self-cleaning procedure. You have seen before how this is working. So just make sure you do this regularly, but not too often. And that's all you need to know about the maintenance of the system. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you want to know more about the DiFluid AirWave or roasting in general, or if you want to order a unit, then just click here or head over to our website roasttravels.com.